Pastor Lemuel is no stranger to us. You can recognize him. Even his back is facing you. You can recognize him from miles away because no one looks like him. Okay, except Afua. Afua, now you have similar hair to Lemuel. So thank God for Afua. Alright, and Pastor Lemuel has been really blessing our church and our community for many years now. Even before he joined Victory Church, he has been a tremendous blessing to each one of us here. So let's put our hands together for Pastor Lemuel.
All right. Thanks, Joel. Thanks, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to share with you guys. All right, so it's good to see everyone. Lots of new faces today. But sadly, I think many church members are not around. I'm sure our church members will catch up on the sermon on our Facebook page. Well, let me just, since there are so many newcomers, let me just give you a little bit of context, a little bit about myself. Lemuel, yes, that's me. I've been pastoring in this church for a long time. I think about 8 years now. And of all the pastors, I just want to say that I am special. I keep saying this because I think I'm the special one. The other two pastors, Pastor Joel and Pastor Asa, they were business people before this. And then they have that different background coming into ministry. And we do things differently. If you don't know, sometimes our conversations get quite, passionate or heated. Because we approach the same thing from both angles. I came from a Bible school. So while they are very pragmatic, I want to be very grounded in the principle, in the Word of God and all that. And today, I cannot help but approach our today's verse in this same manner. I'm from a Bible school and I was pastoring. I always thought I would do this full time. But as this church grew, I realized that I have to begin to also do something else, okay, to supplement. So I'm working, I'm doing some business at the same time. I'm also serving God here during the weekends. Today we're talking about Jesus being the way, the truth, and the life. When Pastor Joel announced that we're going to do this I Am series, I was very excited. And I was also hoping that I would not get this verse. Okay, because this is a really tough verse. Two things that makes this verse so difficult is that one is that it's actually a combo, Joel gets, I am the bread of life. That's just one thing, bread of life, or I am the true vine. Center, I am the light. Done. But this is way, truth, and life. Okay? And also, this verse is not very politically correct nowadays. To say that there's only one way to God is not very nice. You're saying that others are wrong and you are right. That is what this verse is saying. Now turn with me to John chapter 14. And today, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the word, because as this is a little bit of a tough subject for me to preach on, I wanted to let the verse speak for itself. I didn't want to come out and give you 3 points, way, truth, life. But I wanted to just simply explain this verse to you all in very simple ways, to bring out some things that I believe some of us do not yet know. Now, the Bibles that we have, it has chapters, it has verses, it's broken up sometimes into different paragraphs as well. The original text does not have any verse, any reference. Okay, somewhere along the way, some archbishop figured it might be a good idea to put some numbers there so that we can find it and reference it easier. So you don't have to say, let's open this scroll to the page, whatever, and then it's like hundreds and hundreds of pages. But you can just simply give the reference, chapter, verse, and then you can find it. So before all this, John chapter 14 verse 1 is where we begin. But I want to give you the before. Know that as you read the Bible, sometimes it's really helpful to have the chapters and verses, but sometimes you must know that the original did not have it. And so, I want to rewind you a little bit to chapter 13, if you start from there. Chapter 13 Jesus was talking about how he was going to go away. Now, the disciples have been with Jesus, they have given up their whole lives to follow Jesus, and they thought that Jesus was going to be this new king of Israel. He was going to set up the political nation of Israel. But then Jesus says, I'm going to go away. I'm going away. And most of all, Jesus said, I'm going to go away, and where I go, you cannot follow me. So imagine if you were this guy. If you were, maybe for me, in my situation personally, what I think about is like this, Joel and I, we are now partners in, this church. Although we have a business, but you ask him, you ask me, this church, you all, is the most important thing in our life. Okay? It's not, you see, he said amen. Joel said amen, right? Okay. So this church means the most to us, not our business. Okay? But it comes after our families, of course. Okay? But what I imagine as I'm reading this is this. I have given up so much time, put it into this church, and suddenly I imagine Joel says, I'm going to go away. Okay? So that's like, what, Joel? I've given up my previous church and all these things, and then I've come because we decided we're going to do this, and now you're going to say you're going to go away, and then we cannot do this anymore. So it breaks my heart. And the disciples were in this similar situation. So let's pick up from chapter 14, verse 1. Jesus opens with this in chapter 14. Oh yeah, before we go there, let me just rewind a little bit also, tell you a little bit more about the Gospel of John. Sorry, Karen is upstairs because the remote control didn't work. So thank you, Karen, for being upstairs if you can hear me. Okay, please appreciate Karen and whoever does the projection. It's quite tough. She has, quite a workout running up and down sometimes because the remote control does not work. Tell you more a little bit about the Gospel of John is that the Gospel of John is very special. I love the Gospel of John because it is written later than the rest of the Gospels. Okay? And as you read the Gospel of John, it is also very much different. John's theology is more developed. Okay? He has already read Matthew, Mark, Luke, John before he actually had to write John. Because Matthew, Mark, Luke, John was written about maybe anywhere between 10 to 30 years before the Gospel of John. And so John has had all these different sources that he can draw from. And in chapter 20, verse 30 to 31 of the Gospel of John, he said that he's writing this for a purpose, that we might know that Jesus Christ is God. He is writing with an intention. He is writing to an audience where probably, they are Christians already, but they have been kicked out of the synagogues. They cannot be in the synagogue. They cannot worship God in the synagogues anymore. And John is writing to these people. And you read that, because he says he chooses certain things to highlight in the life of Jesus, but he leaves out certain things as well. He said that in chapter 20, verse 30, he says that if I want to write all these things that Jesus has done, I cannot finish writing. But I chose these few things to write to you, 21 chapters, so that you may know that Jesus Christ is the Messiah. I chose 7 I ams to describe to you what Jesus said about himself. He chose 7 signs in the book of John. He doesn't say, John doesn't say, oh, these are the miracles that Jesus did, but he calls them signs. Okay? Signs and wonders. And what the sign means. As you're driving here today, you see certain signs. Maybe you are following the Cheetah Mall sign. But you're on all the way maybe in Puchong, like I come from Puchong. And you see the sign that says Cheetah Mall here. But it's in Puchong. But Cheetah Mall is in PJ. When I see the sign, it doesn't mean that I have arrived. It means that I'm on the way to somewhere else. Okay? So, John chose 7 signs. And as we study, as we begin verse 1, I want you to bear all these things in mind. We will refer back to it on and off, okay? Verse 1 says, let not your hearts be troubled. Because Jesus was going away and the disciples cannot follow him. So Jesus tells the disciples, let not your hearts be troubled. The word, can I have the next slide please? The word in the gospel, next slide after this, I'm done with this. The word trouble in Greek is taraso. Not araso, okay? Not Korean, araso. Okay, but if you get it, you can say araso. Okay, everyone say araso. Okay, Korean, that means, oh, I see. Okay? But, yeah, there it is. Yeah. Okay, so this phrase is placed in the imperative. It means that Jesus is telling us a command. You must not let your hearts be troubled. That's what it means. If your heart is troubled today, God's command to you is today, let not your hearts be troubled. And maybe today, even before we go further into the message, this is God's message to you. Because as we come into church, all of us come in with certain troubles. But today, God is saying to you, do not be troubled. Sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when I go to, we are in a cinema, when I go to a cinema, when I pay money to watch movies, I don't like to watch tragedies. Okay, some of you know what, tragedy, okay, the genre of tragedy, okay, so maybe a movie like Titanic, that's a tragedy. It's a romantic tragedy. Because why? Jack dies, okay, at the end, so it's very sad. When I go to watch a movie, I want to step out of the cinema feeling nice, feeling happy. So for that reason, I like movies that are, in a way, very shallow. Okay, I want to walk out feeling happy, not stressed. It's like not so sad. It's like, Jack, why did you have to die? Kind of thing. I like to walk out like, yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger won. That kind of movie. You know what I mean? Or I like to watch comedies. So I laugh and I feel good and I leave the place. So very shallow movie taste for me. But the reason is I don't like to feel sad or troubled. And sometimes we watch certain movies and we relive it over and over again. You ever watch a movie you don't like? You don't watch it again and again. You watch it one time and it's like, oh, I'm not going to watch it again. I don't have the emotional stamina to do it again. Okay, it's very draining. I want something very happy. I can go in, laugh, and live happy. But however, sometimes in our lives, we allow ourselves to go back over and over again to that tragedy in our lives. All of us, in all our lives, we have faced up and downs. But sometimes it is so hard. Every time, you see something, maybe online or something outside, and you're reminded of your ex-girlfriend that you broke up with, and then you're so sad again. Or that this certain thing has happened to you, and then you see something else, and it reminds you of that situation, and you keep going back, and you keep replaying it in your mind. I want to encourage you guys to press stop for that movie. Okay? If that is the movie playing in your mind's eye, it's time to replay different things. Okay? Jesus in the Bible encourages us to think of good things in Philippians. Think of whatever is pure, whatever is noble, whatever is praiseworthy. Those things you can meditate on. But don't meditate on all these tragedies in your life. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Jesus also knew what it meant to be troubled. In the 3 chapters leading up to this point, chapter 14, verse 1, Jesus was troubled. You can check it out. You can, take the verses and then you can check later. 11:33, 12:27, 13:21. And Jesus was troubled by different things. 11:33 was when he heard his good friend Lazarus was dying, sick and dying. John chapter 12, verse 27, he says, now is my soul troubled, and what shall I say? Father, save me from this hour, but for this purpose I have come. Okay? John chapter 13, verse 21. After saying these things, Jesus was troubled in his spirit and testified, truly, truly, I say to you, one of you will betray me. Check that out. Jesus knew what it meant It was not like Jesus was this God that didn't know what man felt like. Jesus was fully man, but also fully God. He knew what it was to be troubled. He knows what it means when he says to you, do not be troubled. Jesus is not coming out of no context at all. Like, I can do anything because I'm God. So I come and tell you, you don't be troubled. I don't understand your situation. I'm telling you, you cannot be troubled. But God has compassion for us. He knows what it means to be in trouble, but yet He says, do not be troubled. Okay? The Greek word tarasso here is found in the 3 chapters, earlier on 3 times in the book of John. So you know that Jesus knew what it was to be troubled. He also said, moving on, verse 1, we're going to go through this really chronologically. Okay? Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God. Believe also in me. That's the second part of verse 1. What he says, because it's this is not, now, I already told you guys, if I had to choose any of the I ams, this would be the last one I choose. So I really went into it. And, this second part of the verse actually goes more accurately like this. Believing in God, believe also in me. Okay? What Jesus is saying here is that He is proclaiming Himself to be the same as God. If you believe in God, you must believe also in me. Because we are the same. Okay? We'll continue, we'll pick that up later on in verse 7, okay? Believing in God, believe also in me. Now we move on to verse 2 now. Yeah, let's go to the next slide, verse 2. Okay, I'll read from my phone here. In my Father's house are many rooms. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? Now, if some of you are using King James Version, this part of the verse will say, my Father's house are many mansions. And some of you who have been in church long enough, this reminds you of that hymn, right? Anyone knows the hymn that this verse is referring to? Or that came out from this verse? Anybody? No one? Serious? I've got a mansion just over the... Yes, so some of you know. Okay? And that song comes out from here. But I would like to suggest to you guys that, and some wrong teaching and some wrong practices have been coming out from this. Basically, some preachers will say, oh, God, Jesus has gone back to prepare a mansion for you. And what you do here now, on earth, will determine how big and luxurious your mansion is. Sounds familiar or not? Okay? And if you pray really hard, and you live really well, every prayer you say is a brick sent to your mansion. So Jesus can go, oh, he's praying again, thank you Jesus for food. Oh, I got one more brick, so I lay one more brick for that mansion. So you must pray more. Or you must do more good works. You must serve, if you're serving on the worship team, maybe you got one brick wall. Or maybe you have a certain Italian faucet in your mansion. Or maybe you have certain, 60-inch screen in your mansion. Okay? And that's the picture that is given. But here, the original Greek does not talk about mansion. Okay? King James Version draws a lot from the Latin Vulgate, which originally interpreted it wrong to be mansions. But actually, it means tent, okay, or room. It is a room. It's not like, okay, for example, okay, when I go to heaven, because I did very few good works, I didn't pray too much, I didn't attend church enough, so I live on the edge of Taman Shoga. Okay, you go to heaven. Jalan 99. Only got 100 streets, but you are 99, far away. At the center of Taman Shoga, on the hilltop, is Jesus' mansion. Then your one is down at the foothill, maybe where the sewage pond is. Okay? And then, you know what? Because you didn't really pray a lot, you didn't send out many bricks, your house is not really, your mansion is not really a mansion, but it's more like a tent. Okay? Very sad story. And then once in a while, the picture that is given is, once in a while, Jesus might invite you over to have dinner. Okay? So it says like, okay, David, come over from your tent to my mansion, and then we'll have dinner together. And after dinner, we'll walk over to Pastor Joel's house. Pastor Joel prays a lot and does a lot of good work for me. So he has this mansion 2 streets away, Jalan Syurga 2. Okay, 2 streets away from Jesus' main house lah. Okay, and we'll go over for coffee and Monopoly deal after dinner. And then so you finish dinner and you walk over to Pastor Joel's house. And then when you're finished, you leave and you walk home to your tent in heaven. Okay, that is not how heaven is. It says here, in my Father's house are many rooms. So what I'm telling you is this. In eternity in heaven, I don't like to speculate too much, but I'm going to tell you that that is definitely not how it is. But I could suggest that maybe this is the way how it might, better be according to the Bible, is that we live in one big house together. We are one big family. And the rest of our eternity, what we're going to do is we're going to eat together, we're going to hang out together, we're going to do all kinds of things, and it's all going to be done together. There's no like, oh, we're done, so goodbye Jesus, and then we'll leave His presence. For the rest of eternity, we're going to be in His presence. Okay? And we're going to know Him more and more and more for the rest of eternity. And that's what it means. And I prefer that. It is like, basically, and this is a shameless plug right here, it's basically like a never-ending church camp. Just that your roommates won't annoy you after 4 days, 3 nights. If you haven't signed up for church camp, sign up for church camp. It won't be more than 4 days, 3 nights. So you won't get into one another's hair too much, you won't snore too much, anything like that. Okay? So sign up for church camp, okay? It's going to be awesome. Okay? So heaven is more like, it's going to be a giant eternal church camp where we spend time with one another and with God. Okay? Now the thing is that as Jesus said these words, he also had a certain background to it, a certain context to what he's saying. In the Middle Eastern times, Jesus' time, when you want to get married to someone, you get engaged, okay? Same like here. But after you've gotten engaged, what the groom does is, the groom goes home to his father. Engaged already, goes home to the father, and maybe before there was Jerusalem or they were settled into a location, they will live in tents. Okay? And what they do is they'll go back to the father's house, which is a tent, and they will add another wing, another extension, one more tent. But it's still the same house. Okay? Maybe they cut another hole and then they add another wing. So it's like renovation, tent style. Okay? And so this father, maybe if you have, like 5 sons, then you begin to see as the sons get married, then there'll be different wings. Okay? Different wings. This first son's wing, second son's wing. And then when they have some more children, then they'll add. Every time there's a new member of the family, one more wing is added. Extension, extension, extension. So it becomes like this sprawling tent, huge tent, or a huge house in a way, where everybody lives with the Father under the same roof. So Jesus was saying these things to the disciples. And the disciples knew this, had this in the back of their mind. That Jesus is like, and in the Bible calls the church the bride of Christ. Jesus needs to go back to prepare a room for us. And we need to prepare ourselves to be the perfect bride for Him. Sometimes as a guy, that's the weird thing for me to say. I don't know how it is. Because the bride, I'm not female, you see. And I'm a guy. I like to be the groom. Jesus, can you be the bride? But no. Jesus says that we are the bride. And I think it refers to a certain submission towards Him. That He is the head of us. That He leads us. Okay? And then we come to this prologue or preamble to the ultimate truth bomb that we're going to look into. Okay? And Thomas asked Jesus, Jesus says, I'm going to go and prepare a place for you so that when it is prepared, you can come, you can join me. But Thomas, of all the disciples, and I picture it this way in my mind, or the other disciples were like, okay, Jesus, you go prepare a place, we'll come. And everyone's like, maybe, like pretending, Jesus, we totally know, we totally get you, we totally understand. But they really didn't. Okay, as you read the Gospels, they really didn't. The disciples didn't know what Jesus had in mind. And you see that Thomas was the one who spoke up. And because of all these times that Thomas speaks up, okay, even later after the resurrection, he is given this nickname of Doubting Thomas. Right? And it makes its way into our English language as well. If someone likes to doubt the Lord, doubts your abilities or capabilities, and you start to call that person, hey, why are you such a Doubting Thomas? Okay, and this is Doubting Thomas is from the Bible. So without Thomas' doubts, Jesus might not have said these words. What I want to say to you today is this, is that Jesus can handle your doubts, your questions and your doubts. If you have doubts today, that's great. Let me tell you this, having doubts is not a sin. You know why I say that? Because as Thomas doubted, Jesus never rebuked him. Jesus never said, why you doubt? I already said no. Okay? And if you are here today and you have doubts, let me assure you that you are not alone. As a pastor also, I doubt, what is all this that I'm believing in? It is not jiving with what society is telling me, that other people is telling me. If you have doubts, bring it to the Lord. Bring it to Jesus. And oftentimes, it is during these points of doubt that Jesus makes himself super real to you. That Jesus begins to do something special. That out of that doubt, he will turn that doubt around and he will bring faith. By the end of this, after the Bible, in the Bible we know him as Doubting Thomas, but after the Bible, from what we know, okay, Thomas became a missionary and a martyr to India. Okay, until today, there is like this ancient church in India called the Marthoma Church, and it started by Thomas, the apostle Thomas, and he died. He was martyred there. He died for Jesus in India, far, far away from Israel. So that, although now you might have doubts, maybe even in the future, until we die, we cannot help it. Sometimes we doubt. Sometimes we question God. But let me encourage you. If you have that, make it known to God. And if you need, make it known to one of our pastors. Maybe, we can put your doubts to rest. But most importantly, bring your doubts to God. Okay? Now let's go into the major truth bomb here, okay, in the passage, where Jesus says He's the way, the truth, and the life. Right? Yesterday night, maybe some alien showed up and showed me this alien language. Okay, some of you might know this is in Greek. Okay, and I want to, in order to understand what Jesus means when He says the way, the truth, the life, we have to rewind. We have to put ourselves, as much as possible in Jesus' shoes or in the shoes of the disciples. At this point, this whole conversation with Jesus was spoken only to the disciples, the 12. It was a very intimate setting, and we must try to put ourselves there and find out what it means. Okay, in case, because we are studying the I Am series, let me just give you these two words that you need to remember. Okay, two words. Ego, eimi. Okay, not hard. 2 syllables and 2 syllables. That's the first 2 words there. Ego, eimi. Okay, that's Greek. That's how you pronounce it in English phonetically. And that is the direct translation of the Greek. Okay? Now, ego, eimi is actually 2 same words. I am and I am. So if you don't know anything, okay, after these 7 weeks of study, of coming to church, and going through this whole I am, I hope that maybe this is something that you can bring with you. That in John, whenever Jesus says that I am bread of life, I am light of the world, I am resurrection, I am the way, the truth, the life, He is saying this. I am. He's saying it twice. It is repeated. Okay? And this is a very thinly veiled reference to Him being the same as Jehovah God. In the Old Testament, Moses asked the burning bush, okay, God in the burning bush appeared to him. He asked God, through the burning bush, who do I say sent me? Who do I tell them has sent me? And God revealed himself in this way. I am the I am. Okay? That is Jehovah. Okay? And this is clearly referencing to that because it is redundant. It is like Jesus is stuttering. It's like I am like twice. But John, writing with purpose, says this twice. He was not recording Jesus word for word, you know. This is AD like 90 somewhere there. And Jesus would have died for about 60 years already. He's not recording because Jesus started. He's not subtitling Jesus, you know. Okay? But John here is quoting what Jesus said. Jesus is not stuttering. It is not a grammatical error. Okay? And he is clearly referencing and saying to the disciples and today to all of us that he is the same God, Jehovah God. Okay? So, ego, eimi. Heodos, okay, the. He is the. It is an exclusive term. The. He didn't say, I am I am one of, but the. Okay? He. Okay? And you will see it repeated. The. Okay? And then now you know that Kai. What does Kai mean in Greek? And so clever. Okay? So this is like subtitles, so it's quite fun. And how you read this is, you can all read it, okay? You can try it. Ego, eimi, he hodos, kai he aletheia, kai he zoe. Now let's look at the first one. Hodos. The way, from this word you get English words like odometer. Okay? You all know the odometer? In your car, that as you drive, it tells you how far you have gone. That's the odometer. Or other words like method. Okay, which there was some, evolution before it became method in English now. Okay, in Latin I think. Okay, it is metahodos. So there's metahodos means scientific way. Okay, and methods come from that. Other words like Greek, English words we have like eno. Okay, Latin it would be anahodos, the way up. Kathod is katahodos. Okay? So all these words that we have in English came from this word. Help you to remember it. Next time when you want to quote this verse, you can put it in Greek. Win. Okay? Get extra money for that. Okay, bonus points. Hodos means a trail, like a road, like an animal trail. You know, in the farming society, what farm animals do is that they wake up, they eat, they sleep, and there are 3 different places that they do that. And sometimes after they've gone many times, you see, like when you're hiking, okay, in certain places, there begins to be a trail, an animal trail, and this is what hodos means. That trail. It is like railroad tracks for us to follow. Jesus says that this is the way. I am the way. If I tell you today, how do you come to church? I can give you an instruction on how to come to church. Or you go down this road, Subang Airport Road, then after that you see Chita Mall, you know, if depending on where you're coming from Puchong, you see Chita Mall on your right hand side, then you keep left, then you go down the bridge, you U-turn, and then you turn left, and then go straight, then turn right. I can give you instructions that way. Jesus could have given instructions that way. And many religious teachers and moral teachers and prophets say that. Almost, I do not know of any other religion where the founder says, I am the way, forget about everything else. You just stick with me. Everyone else says that you need to turn left, go straight, right, you know, like GPS like that. Everyone else is a GPS. But Jesus here, he's not saying, I can show you the way, I can tell you the way, I can instruct you how to go or how to live. Jesus says, I am the way to live. If you want to live right, you stay with me, you walk on me. I am this way. And that kind of makes Christianity different. It tells, you know, being during the beginning time, early times, during after Jesus has died on the cross and ascended to heaven, Christians were not immediately known as Christians. They were known as the people of the way. Okay? And clearly, these words of Jesus claiming that He is the way, is impactful. That even others recognize this. That if you claim to be a follower of Jesus, you are the follower of the way. You are a follower of Jesus, you are a follower of the way. Okay? And it means, why people call Christians followers of the way is because Christians are so much different from them, even today. It's not about, it tells us that it's not about the rituals, it's not about the things that we do over and over again, it's not about the sacraments, it's not about the ordinances, it's not about all this, but the ways refers to a lifestyle, a way of living. Today, if you want to be a follower of Jesus, it's not about attending church, it's not about what you do, how much, whether you give money to the church, it is about your lifestyle. It is not what you do on Sunday, it is what you do your whole life, Sunday to Sunday. What is the lifestyle? What is your lifestyle? In Psalms 25 verse 4, the Bible says this: "Make me to know your ways, O Lord. Teach me your path. Lead me in your truth and teach me." We need to have a lifestyle that honors God if we claim to be people of the way. Alright? And we move on to the next one. It says the truth. Jesus claims that He is the truth. And this, some of you might know, might be familiar with this word already. Aletheia. Okay? And that's the name of my school. Okay? Okay, so if you all didn't know, some of you are new. My wife and I, we run a Christian school, and we call the school Aletheia. Okay? Aletheia. And I had to be careful, I had to check and everything, okay? And if it was Greek, you would say it as Aletheia, okay? And, because I had a friend who also started a business, and he didn't check properly, and he started an aquarium shop, okay? And he called his aquarium shop 5 fish, okay? And he was trying to reference to Jesus' miracle of taking 5 loaves and 2 fish, okay? So he messed up the numbers, he got registered, and his mistake is immortalized in his SSM, and every time I can laugh at him, okay? But it's actually 2 fish. But here, I did some research. So, yay, we got extra research here today. So, Aletheia, Jesus says that He is the truth. He is the embodiment of truth. Okay? As opposed to, the opposite of truth is falsehood. In Jesus, there is no falsehood. Jesus, basically earlier on, you read in verse 2, "I go to prepare a place for you. If it were not so, I wouldn't tell you so." Okay, Jesus is basically saying, I kid you not, I don't lie one. When I say I go to prepare a place and I'm going to come back, I mean it. And that's the truth. Okay? Jesus says the truth. Oftentimes we need, as we're doing OSL, it's so important because it tells us the truth. We are learning more and more truth in our lives. We are gaining it from the Bible. So if you are a Christian and you're attending our church and you have not done OSL, I encourage you, join our OSL. Sign up. Okay? We can do it on Sunday, wherever. We can come to your house. We can do it together. Basically, OSL is, another shameless plug here. It's an opportunity for us to learn more about God. Okay? And our pastors will come, our leaders will come, and we will spend time with you to teach you more truth. Now, as important as it is, especially for me, because I come from Bible school, I have to be very orthodox. Okay, I would like to claim that amongst this hall here, I'm one of the most orthodox in my theology. I like to claim that, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not. But as much as orthodoxy is important, a relationship with Jesus is importanter. Okay? It's more important that you know Jesus than to know your theology. Because is there anyone in the world with perfect theology? Nobody. Who knows God perfectly and there's no error? Nobody. Is there anyone who will have beliefs that all of us can agree to? No, because we have different experiences. God speaks to us differently. But you know what unites all of us together? Is our relationship with Jesus. Okay? Out of all the truth, this is the most important truth, is that you need to have a relationship with Jesus. When I say this, I'm basically depreciating my position. Because I'm the one that went to Bible school. I'm the one that's serving you as the pastor. But I'm telling you this. If you have a relationship with God, but you don't have perfect theology, you'll still make it to heaven. Okay? But what you cannot say is this. The pastor is not feeding me. The church is not feeding me. So I'm not growing. Your Christian walk and your Christian growth is your responsibility. Take ownership of it. Whether you grow or not is up to you. You have a direct relationship with the truth, the embodiment of truth. And therefore, you need to take steps for yourself to read your Bible. That is the main source of truth for us today, the Bible. Okay? You need to study the Word of God and grow that way. The result of this, in John chapter 8, verse 32, it says that when you know the truth shall set you, say, free. You want freedom in your life, in your worship to God? Know the truth. The more truth you know, the more freedom you can experience in God. Okay? So that's truth. Let's move on. I think I have 10 more minutes, okay? And finally, Aletheia, and the last one is Zoe. Apart from Holos, I think this Aletheia, Zoe are good names for girls. Okay, these are all feminine. Okay, if you're studying Greek, these are all in feminine. I don't know how you're going to make these names into masculine names for those of you who are considering baby names. Okay, Zoe, you know how you remember Zoe? Okay, Aletheia, you remember me, my business. Okay, Aletheia, that's truth, and that's what I want to do at the school. I want to teach children truth. Zoe, you remember because it comes from this word, Greek word. You get English words like zoo and zoology. Its zoology would be the study of life, okay, of animal life. So, Zoe, John 10:10 says this: the thief comes to steal, kill, destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly. This is the life that Jesus is talking about. Okay? Sometimes you tell your friends, right? Hey, get a life, man. And this is where you go to get a life. Come to church. Come to Jesus. That's the source of life. You know, Jesus, sometimes people don't like to come to Jesus because we have the misconception that Jesus is a taker. When we come to Jesus, Jesus wants our time, Jesus wants our money, Jesus wants our effort, Jesus wants all of these things. But the truth is that Jesus is not a taker, Jesus is a giver. You can never outgive Jesus. Jesus is the giver of life itself. Okay? So you can never outgive God. Don't give the impression like Jesus, you know, don't misrepresent Jesus by showing him as a taker. He's not a taker. Okay? Everything we have came from Jesus, who is the source of everything we have. Okay? He's the source of life. Sometimes, you know, the church gets criticized for being hypocritical. The church gets criticized for being, you know, unreal, not authentic, and all these kind of things. And you know, if you read the Bible, it was the irreligious people who were drawn to Jesus, who loved Jesus, who loved hanging out with Jesus. And it was the religious people who were put off by Jesus. Today, if we talk about our church here, let's not think too far, okay? So oftentimes the criticism from irreligious people who are not Christians, not part of the church, the criticism of the church is that we are hypocritical. They don't like the church. Whereas the people who like the church are religious people. There is a kind of a paradox here. It shouldn't be that way. The church should be attractive to the irreligious people. And it should challenge you as a Christian or as a believer. It should kind of make you uncomfortable. But now, you know, sometimes churches have done it wrong somehow. We constantly have to reevaluate how our church is doing because it's so easy for our church to fall into this trap where we become attractive to religious people and not attractive to irreligious people. We need, in the words of this famous speaker, Tim Keller, he says that we need to re-Jesus the church. When we become more like Jesus, the church attracts irreligious people. Okay? And maybe makes some of us as believers less comfortable. Okay? We need to, and you know, one of the main ways to do that is this. And I'm really glad for our church, okay, because we meet here, we don't have weekday services, we don't have a lot of it, we don't have, you know, because Jesus said He came to give life. Jesus didn't say, I've come to give you church program. I've come to give you meetings to attend. I've come to give you prayer meetings. I've come to give you ministry to do. Jesus didn't say any of this. Because with the wrong heart and wrong motivation, those things can bring death. Even if you're serving on the worship team, it can bring death. So there's no compulsion, okay? Let me say this once and for all to all the church members in our church. If you feel like you need a break from playing guitar, bass, you need a break from being an usher, you need a break from any of these things, those things are not commanded by Jesus. Okay? Jesus says He came to give us life and life abundantly. What you need to focus is on the abundant life. And once you have received that abundant life, the overflow, abundant means overflowing. The overflow is that you will want to serve Him in all these ways because there's so much more that you want to give. You have received so much that you have to give it away. You've been blessed so much that you have to bless others. So I encourage you guys, receive. But after you receive, don't let it stay stagnant in your life. Let it run over. Stagnant water is the smelliest one. It becomes dirty, it becomes whatever. But let it overflow, run over. Let it keep running over. Bless others, whether it be in a formal ministry or informal ministry. If you need to find ways to let it run over from your life, speak to me, speak to the pastors. We will hook you up, okay? Psalm 16 verse 11 says this: You make known to me the path of life, and in your presence there is fullness of joy, and your right hand are pleasures forevermore. That is what Christian life should be like. Not a dry, monotonous, religious ritual. Rituals, I'm not saying that rituals are not important. They're important. But if you have lost the plot, if you do not understand what the ritual means, then it's just death. Okay? Jesus came so that we can have life. Now, finally, I want to end with this. I just want to give you a little bit more of Greek. In the grammar of Greek, we now know already. Ego, emi, he, podos, kai he, aletheia, kai he, zoe. The thing with Greek grammar is this. It is verbalic from English. Okay? So, for example, you might say the house is white. Okay? Whereas in Greek, it might be white is the color of the house. And how you arrange your grammar often tells you which is the subject and which is the predicate. Which is the thing that is being spoken about, and which is the one that describes the subject of the sentence. Okay? In all these I am statements, ego, emi, Jesus has always flipped it around. He is not using colloquial language. Not like how you and I would talk regularly. Okay? Jesus basically took a yoga to drop some truth bombs on us. Okay? He's basically saying, like yoga, instead of saying, you got so much more to learn. He says, much more to learn you still have. Okay? Jesus is doing that. He's pulling a yoga on all of us. And when you read this, I am the way, the truth, and the life, it sounds like English, but actually it's Tabalik. Okay? The focus here is not the way, the truth, the life. The focus here is that Jesus is telling us that He is the I am. Today, if you're seated here, maybe some of you are being faced for the first time ever. You've heard this for the first time. And you previously thought all ways are the same and all ways lead to God. Today, I have to tell you that not all ways are the same. There's only one way. That is the way. Other ways will not lead to the same place. You cannot say that Jesus is the same as Allah, that the Christian God is the same, because Jesus here clearly sets himself apart. Based on what is recorded in the Bible, based on what is recorded in history, you can only come to one of three conclusions. Okay? C.S. Lewis says that, let me just get a quote here, Christianity, if false, is of no importance, and if true, of infinite importance. The only thing it cannot be is moderately important. Because when Jesus says certain things about himself, like when he claims to be the I am, when he claims to be the way, the truth, and the life, he is either a liar, he's lying to us, he knows he is not God, but he says that he is. And he's a very committed liar because he died for his life. He said he's God, and that's what got him killed. If at any time you think about it, if you told a lie and your life was in danger because of this lie that you told, and your way out was to come clean, just say, I am lying, sorry. You don't have to die anymore. Wouldn't you give up your life for your life? Jesus here claimed that he was God and was sentenced to die on the cross because of that. Was he a liar? For me, it doesn't look like it. Maybe Jesus is crazy. Maybe he really did think that he is God, but he's not. He really truly believed it. Because he's crazy, he's willing to die for something that is not true. Based on history, the number of people who have died in Jesus' name, who were martyred, even today, people are still being persecuted. Some die, and maybe some get kidnapped. And yet, people still are committed to Jesus being God. And this Jesus is this crazy person that has convinced all of us, so many people in the history of the world, that he's a lunatic. And that's not very probable to me, because like I told you earlier, the Gospel of John, the Gospels, these accounts of what Jesus has done and said, was written within the same time that he actually died. You know, sometimes myths and legends come out. Somebody did something. But normally the stories come out later. Because the first-hand people, the people who witness, first-hand witnesses are already dead. So there's no one to verify. But the Gospels, the Bible was written so close to Jesus' life that, you know, if it was false, you know, okay, for example, today, if you hear some news, certain newspaper report, oh, only 50% show up for this demonstration. But you were there, and your friends were there, maybe your brother was there, and you have first-hand information. No, it was not 50, it was 50,000. You can easily verify whether it's true or false. Right? But after time passed, maybe you cannot. And because it was so close, there were so many first-hand witnesses to Jesus' life and the miracles that he did, no one has been able to say, this is not true. No one has been able to say, this guy is a lunatic, this guy is following this lunatic, also lunatics. So is Jesus a liar or a lunatic? I don't think so. The only really logical and viable conclusion is that Jesus is Lord. Either he is Lord of all or not at all. What Jesus absolutely cannot be is a good teacher. If today you are here and you think that Jesus is a good moral teacher, he is not, because people have died for his teachings. He has caused so many people to die for this teaching. If he was merely a moral teacher, he is a terrible moral teacher. He's the worst guy in the world. He's crazy or he's liar. Lunatic or liar. But I suggest to you today that, as the pop quiz says, you need to choose A, B, or C. Today I encourage you, I'll give you guys a chance. If your answer is C today, I would like to pray with you guys, for you guys. And not only for people who have heard this for the first time, maybe you guys are Christians here today. And, you know, in case you guys didn't realize, today, you know, it has somehow become uncool to really like believe in something. Even the way we say things is like totally unsure. We're totally not sure about anything. Everything we say, we have to like disclaim it with, we phrase it that way, and that is the political way to that's politically correct. Today, the worst sin that society tells us is intolerance. Society does not tolerate intolerance. And if you say that your way is the only way, now that's politically incorrect. But Jesus was not politically correct. He was not trying to win popular votes. Christians, are we trying to win popular votes where we are? With our friends, with our family, with our workplace, with our colleagues at our workplace? Are we trying to tell them, oh, you know what, it's okay if you're not a Christian because your way is okay for you? Do we really believe this verse when Jesus says, I am the I am. I am the way, the truth, the life? Do we realize that without this way, the other way is hell? I thank God for the testimonies coming out from last week. I think over 80 people were here. Joel said 20 people, about 20 people responded to prayers for healing, and 5 people responded to the gospel. And that's great. I encourage us, those of you who are church members here, we need to be urgent about this. Jesus says He goes to prepare a place. Any time now, even before this sermon or this service ends, He could come back again. And we need to be urgent about this because there is not another way. You might think that this is very exclusive and bigoted, but let me tell you, all other religion says you need to do certain things. In order to get there, wherever that is, heaven, nirvana, whatever you want to call it, okay? In order to get there, you must do this. Pray 5 times, you must be vegetarian, you must be this, must be that, must be that. You must do certain things. But Christianity is the only religion where it has been done for you already. It is not why did God only make one way. It's that by God's grace, He has made a way. There was no way for us originally, but now there is a way, and He is the way. In this exclusivity, there's such an inclusiveness. Anyone, not just a race, not just certain people who can perform certain duties, but anyone who would acknowledge that He is the way will be saved.